Today's story is about a musical group that helped create the 1960s Motown sound. This group paved the way for many more Motown performers to follow. The group's leader was one of the most gifted and influential songwriters of all time. During the group's almost 7-decade run, this group had 26 charted songs that reached the top 10 of the Billboard R&B charts, including 4 R&B #1 hits. The centerpiece of today's video is all about the miracles. Now, before we start, let's be sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and push that notification bell to be sure you won't miss out on any more uploads. Now, without further ado, let's cue that intro. The story begins with William Smokey Robinson. Warren Pete Moore and Ronnie White was 11 years old when they began to sing with each other. The trio was influenced by many groups such as Nolan Strong and the Diablos, also Billy Ward and his Dominoes. When the trio started high school, they was joined by 2 more students, with Clarence Dawson and James Grace, to form the 5 Chimes. Before dropping out, Aretha Franklin attended Northern High School with all 5 members. Following Dawson's departure from the group and Grace's marriage-related exit, cousins Emerson Sonny and Bobby Rogers replaced them. Now, you may have yet to be aware, but Smokey and Bobby was born in the same hospital on the same day in the same year. Now, ironically, the two didn't meet each other until they was 15 years old. When the Roger cousins joined the group, they took on the name the Matadors. Now, around this time, it was very usual for groups to have a sister group, and Claudette, Sonny's sister, was a member of the Matadorettes. Claudette and Smokey started dating around 1957. That same year, Sonny departed the group to serve in the military. Claudette stepped in for him while he was away, and because there was practically a new group, they decided to change their name to the Miracle Tones. In August of 1957, the group received a big break when they auditioned for Brunswick Records, which was home to Jackie Wilson, a Detroit local legend and upcoming singer at the time. They were scheduled to audition for label owner Nat Turnerpool, producer Alonzo Tucker, and songwriter Berry Gordy. During the audition, Gordy remained silent when Turnerpool and Tucker expressed their disgust. They alleged that there was a counterfeit version of the Platters, even going as far to state that there couldn't be 2 groups in America with a woman in it. Following the group's rejection, Gordy followed the group outside and told Smokey how much he appreciated his voice. Gordy then learned that Smokey could write, but he needed some time to grow. They would begin working with each other, resulting in the formation of a lifelong friendship. Gordy will help write these songs and negotiating distribution rights for the group's singles. And the records released the group's debut single with the song Got a Job.
And we need some more.
I got a job. I got a job.
Following the release of the group's first single, the group changed its name for the 4th time, dropping the Tones and just becoming the Miracles. They went on to record 5 more songs, including I Need Some Money,
All you think about is money. Oh, baby.
and I Need a Change, among many more.
If you still love.
Gordy was being taken advantage of around this time from other labels, since he was only getting paid $3.19 for his work on these songs. To get around this, Smokey recommended that he start his own record label. Now, around this time, black people was very fortunate to even receive $1 for their labor. Gordy fulfilled Smokey's promise by launching Tamla Records on June 7th, 1958, where he signed the Miracles and More Stars, who was among the first acts that was signed to the label. Because Gordy was still negotiating distribution rights at this time, Chess Records released the group's first pop charted single with the song Bad Girl.
He wants to be free. Bad girl. She wants.
This was the label's first song to chart on the pop charts. The group performed at the Apollo Theater in 1958, but they had a dismissal reaction. Smokey realized that they was missing one more important key member for that group, which resulted into this heated reaction. When Smokey first heard the Primettes play, he was very impressed by their guitarist, Marvin Tarplin. Smokey and Diana Ross was neighbors, so he made a deal with her. In exchange for their guitarist, he promised to get the group an audition with Berry Gordy. Tarplin's involvement led to the formation of the group's classic lineup. The year 1960 took off quickly for the group. Another track by the group that was released was Way Over There.
Across the river wide, I can hear her calling to me. Oh, she's calling my name.
This song became their second major success in the nation. Smokey wrote this song, which is based on the Isley Brothers song Shout. Later that year, they released the song Shop Around.
And now, keep your freedom for as long as you can. My mama told me you better shop around.
Followed by Who's Loving You, which was one of the group's most well-known songs.
Down, and I wonder who is loving you.
Because of the group's success, they was the first ever Motown act to appear on television, where they appeared on Dick Clark's American Bandstand on December 27th, 1960. The group's first two albums was Hi We're the Miracles and Cooking with the Miracles, which was released in 1961. Ain't It Baby?
Ain't it, baby? Are you even hold yourself or no?
Broken Hearted,
I'm so blue, baby, without you.
and Everybody's Gotta Pay Some Dues was the three big singles from these albums.
Time you're gonna have the blues. Well, it may take years, but you're gonna shed some.
The group ran into some problems later that year when Smokey contracted the Asian flu and was bedridden for a month, leaving his wife in charge. Claudette and Smokey also received some devastating news as they was hoping to start a family, but learned that Claudette has miscarried due to a car accident. In 1962, the group released a third album called I'll Try Something New. Now this album had 3 charted singles with What's So Good About Goodbye,
Since you said goodbye to me,
I've Been Good to You,
you needed a friend, so I took you in and treated you kind.
and I'll Try Something New.
There we will walk with your hand in my hand. You'll be queen of the stars.
Warren Moore was recruited into the military and served for a few years, but the group remained faithful by keeping him on the payroll. 1963 became another busy year for the group as they released 4 albums, starting with The Fabulous Miracles that peaked at 118 on the Billboard 200 charts. And this album had hits like You Really Got a Hold on Me,
But I need you. Don't wanna kiss you. But I
The next album was The Miracle Recorded Live on Stage, which peaked at 139 on the Billboard 200 charts. The third album, Christmas with the Miracles, and the fourth album, The Miracles Doing Mickey's Monkey, which peaked at 113 on the Billboard 200 charts. Now this album had 2 hit singles with Mickey's Monkey and I Gotta Dance to Keep From Crying.
see this cat do that monkey thing.
Now due to their thrilling performances, The group earned the nickname the Showstoppers in the early 60s. The group was also the first Motown group to be choreographed by Charlie Atkins. Now, Bobby Rogers was the group's best dancer, and it really helped them because he was already familiar with working with actors. Following the success with the group, Atkins became Motown's official in-house choreographer. The Miracles was among the Motown performers who composed of their own songs rather than relying on staff writers, which really helped the group gain prominence. Smokey also wrote songs for other Motown acts such as Brenda Holloway, The Temptations, Mary Wells, Marvin Gaye, the Marvelettes, and the Contours, among more. While the other members of the group worked as employees for Motown, Smokey rose to the position of vice president of Motown in 1964. Smokey and Claudette was now actively attempting to start a family, but Claudette experienced repeated miscarriages as a result to the demanding traveling life. So, after suffering her sixth miscarriage, she decided to leave the road, only providing background vocals until 1972, where she also stopped participating in the group's tours, photo shoots, and television appearances. Following Claudette's departure from the group activities, the Miracles performed on The Tammy Show, which was a landmark event that also featured other performances by the Rolling Stones, James Brown and the Famous Flames, the Supremes, Chuck Berry, and Marvin Gaye, to name a few. The Miracles paved the way for many future Motown stars. Now, following their national success, the Miracles became Motown's best-selling act. This will be followed by another album titled I Like It Like That in 1964. Now, this album had two major hits, one of which was the title song,
Things gonna work out fine. We can say I like it like that.
and That's What Love Is Made Of.
That's what love is made of. That's what love is made of.
The group's name was altered again that following year to Smokey Robinson and the Miracles. Now, during this time, it was very common for bands and groups to use the star's name or the main singer's name first, given that technically the audience was receiving two different acts, the star and the group. This was also a way for the label to charge more money for their live performances. Going to a Go-Go was the group's first album under this new name, which peaked at number 8 on the Billboard 200 charts and number 1 on the Billboard Top R&B Albums charts. This album had 5 charted singles with Choosy Beggar,
But though my heart is begging for love, I've turned some love away.
the self-entitled single, My Girl Has Gone,
To comfort myself is that my girl has gone. Said goodbye,
the tracks of My Tears,
deep inside I'm blue. So take a good look at my face.
and Ooh Baby Baby.
I know I'm made of you, but I'm only human.
The group issued another album that following year titled Away We Are Go-Go that peaked at number 3 on the Billboard Top R&B Album charts and number 41 on the Billboard 200 charts. Whole Lot of Shaking in My Heart,
There's no one else, 'cause I feel a whole lot of shaking in my heart since I met you, girl.
and Come Right Here, I'm the One You Need was 2 of the album's top charted singles.
And when you need some loving arms to hold you, come right here. Now I may not be the one you want.
In 1967, the group released another album called Make It Happen. Now, this album had 3 charted singles with The Love I Saw in You Was Just a Mirage,
Just a minute ago, your love was here. All of a sudden, it seemed to disappear.
More Love, and Tears of a Clown.
Subject, don't let my glad expression give you the wrong impression.
Now, at this point in time, the group began to make between $100,000 to $200,000 each night by playing at nightclubs. They was also earning a lot of money for royalties and investments. The group's popularity expanded as the result of appearances on several TV shows, including The Mike Douglas Show, American Bandstand, The Andy Williams Show, and The Ed Sullivan Show. Due to the continuous developments in the music industry and Motown, Smokey chose to step aside from the group in 1969 to focus on his duty as vice president of Motown, also his family life. The group's song, Baby Don't Cry, was influenced by Robinson's opinion.
Let him walk on out if he wants to.
The song Tears of a Clown made Robinson stay with the group for 2 more years until 1972, when he pledged to leave and named Billy Griffin as his replacement during the 6-month farewell tour. After Smokey left, Claudette formally quit the group, followed with Marv Tarplin, who also quit later that year to work with Smokey in his solo projects. Donald, Billy Griffin's brother, accepted the open position of the group's guitarist. The group would begin to work on their future album, and they collaborated with Marvin Gaye and Willie Hutch. Renaissance was the group's first album since Smokey's departure, and this album peaked at 176 on the Billboard 200 charts and number 33 on the Billboard Top R&B Albums charts. Now, during Billy Griffin's tenure, the group issued 2 albums for Columbia Records and 5 albums for Motown Records. Now, this new group established that they could still produce hit songs without Smokey, such as Do It Baby, and Love Machine. The group's relationship with Motown had deteriorated. When it was time for the group to renegotiate their contract, Motown was also having contract issues with Stevie Wonder, who offered the group some contract advice, which they accepted, and they chose to sign with Columbia Records in 1977. Now, with Columbia, the group released a record with the label around their necks because they was concerned about potential FBI threats. Now, this song was called Spy for Brotherhood. To prevent any potential consequence, the label decided to remove the song from everywhere. Pete Moore, Billy Griffin, and Donald Griffin left the group in 1978. Following this, the group was momentarily disbanded before Ronnie Wright and Bobby Rogers decided to keep the group name alive in the 80s. Dave Finley and Carl Cotton would replace Pete Moore and Billy Griffin, leaving Donald Griffin's place vacant. Now, this version of the group lasted until White retired in 1983 following the death of his wife. That same year, the group's original lineup reunited for Motown 25. In 1993, White and Rogers decided to recreate the group with new members Dave Finley and former NFL player turned singer Sidney Justin, who was later replaced by Mark Scott, which resulted into 2 different miracle groups. White passed away of leukemia in 1995, leaving the group with only 3 members until 2001. Bobby Rogers passed away in March of 2013, just 2 weeks after his 73rd birthday. Pete Moore passed away on November 19, 2017, on his 79th birthday. Carl Cotton passed away in 2003, Marv Tarplin passed away in 2011, and Donald Griffin passed away in 2015. In 1997, the group earned the Pioneer Award for the Rhythm and Blues Foundation. The group also received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 2009 and was inducted into the Vocal Group Hall of Fame in 2001. Also, the Rhythm and Blues Music Hall of Fame in 2015. Now, when Smokey Robinson was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as a solo artist in 1987, the group found itself in the middle of some considerable controversy. It took 25 years before the group was officially recognized and inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. The Miracles and their music had such a global impact, inspiring singers from a variety of genres. The Miracles should be remembered as one of Motown's greatest groups of all time. Before we leave, I have a couple questions for you all. Do you think the Miracles should have been inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1987 with Smokey Robinson? Also, what is your favorite song from the Miracles?